Hi, I'm Tim and this is Timberway Designs. In this video here, I'm going to take 10 common rocks off a public beach and I'm going to cut them in half and we're going to look and see what's inside. These rocks were collected on the shore of Lake Superior, Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota. And there's some pretty interesting stuff going on in there. And they're probably going to be a little boring compared to the rocks I did in the last episode. Those are really nice, the Utah rocks and the Mississippi rocks, but I collected these myself, so I'm kind of curious to see what's inside. So let's whip the camera around here and we'll take a closer look at them. So we got a nice little selection of Lake Superior rocks I picked up last year, I think now. I got a lot of them, but I've been getting a lot of viewers sending in rocks, so I haven't been cutting these as much as I normally would. So let's see what we got here for saw today. So the first one here, this is jasper and looks like hematite in there. At least that's what I'm hoping it is. Get it wet. And that's what it looks like. Yeah, it's definitely hematite right along in there. So that should make an interesting cut. We got this epidote and quartz. And looks like might be some host rock in there, right there maybe. This thing's like neon green, so I'm kind of, well, maybe not neon green. How about Grinch green? But I'm hoping it's got a lot of nice detail, and especially lots of quartz in there, and it'll shine up really nice. All right, I think this one is argonite. I don't know, one of those two there, I think. Because it's got the texture of it, but what kind of intrigued me was the red. And I'm hoping that kind of goes through the rock. And there it is right there. I'm hoping it's not too crumbly, and I'm hoping it shines very well. We shall see. A piece of granite here. Almost looks like porphyry. I mean, it could be porphyry. We'll find out for sure when I cut it open. But yeah, the black and the white pattern really got me. I really like that. I think that's cool. Got a piece of unakite here, which is mostly epidote. A lot of mica in it. I thought the pattern looked really good. Just enough orange in there to keep things interesting, and I think it'll make a good cut and a good cab. All right, got a piece of porphyry here for sure. Feldspar and then whatever the host rock is. I'm thinking basalt. Look at that. And, you know, sometimes I have pretty good luck with this stuff. It shines up relatively nice, so I'm hoping this one will shine up nice. Okay, I think this is a chunk of a north site. I'll put the name down below there. And when you see this stuff on the beach, especially when it's wet, it just looks like you'd finish it and you should be able to see through it like a piece of glass. And this one's got some green going on in there. So I'm kind of hoping it stays together well and we get a nice shine, just like this one right here. And right here is an amygdaloidal. Looks like rhyolite, and it's got a chunk of prehnite in there. And I'm hoping there's some native copper, and I'm hoping there's a beautiful design hiding inside this rock here. This is another amygdaloidal, but this kind of one looks kind of agate-y. So I'm kind of hoping there's some cool stuff in there, like so you can kind of see a little fortification right there, almost looks like. Now it could just be all on the outside. That's happened to me before, but we will find out. And I got this one here. Not really sure what it is, but it looks like there's fortifications. You can kind of see them off the end of my finger right here. Wasn't going to put this one in the pile, but I really, really want to see what's inside this rock. It just looks like, you know, it looks busy on the outside. I'm hoping it's busy on the inside. So these are the 10 rocks we're going to take downstairs and cut in half and see what's inside of them. So I'll see you down on the saw. All right, we're down here on my high-tech 10-inch lapidary saw. And first thing I want to show you is this is a sintered continuous rim diamond blade. It does not cut with a point. It cuts by grinding with diamonds that are embedded in here. I'm rubbing my thumb on it right now, and it don't even cut this nitro glove here. So Do not worry about me cutting my fingers. And the other thing I normally do is I'll run it through an old grinding wheel here to kind of expose more diamonds to get a better cut. So, got 10 rocks here. Let's start cutting. Alright, first up, we got this mystery rock here, and I want to split it down the middle because I really want to see what's inside this one. Okay, first rock, episode 51. Ooh. I like that. Okay, now we're going to talk about these when we get upstairs a little more in depth, so we're just going to do a quick show here. I'll make the loidal. I'm going to split it right down the middle. Pattern and color. Wow. See the copper in there? Right there? Liking that. Hey, got this green rock here. I'm going to cut it down this side here instead of splitting it down the middle. Alright, that was kind of soft, but I think it's going to look cool. Wow. Alright, got this one I called our norther-site, or norther, I don't know. Oh, we'll talk about more of this upstairs. Let's split it right down the middle. Okay, I'm kind of hoping the red goes inside of this thing. There we go. Wow. A few fractures, but it's kind of interesting. Okay, we got this other piece, and I'm going to split it right down the middle. Okay, see what this one looks like. Okay, actually, it looks kind of dirty in there. Alright, I'm really curious about this one, and I'm going to split it right down the middle too. Alright, do we got something cool hiding in here? Oh, right, okay. It almost looks like an agate there. Alright. Piece of unakite here. I'm going to split him right down the middle too. Cool patterns, cool colors. Ooh. Liking that. Okay. This one here, trying to think. It's going to be the same size no matter how I cut it, so let's just split it right down the middle here. Let's see what we got. Okay. Kind of interesting. Alright, porphyry here. Splitting it right down the middle. Alright, we know it's going to look like that on the inside, but maybe a different pattern. Alright. Looks pretty solid. And this one here. Let's see. Let's split it right down the middle too. Alright. Last one. Okay. I really like the pattern on this. I like the black and the white, the contrast, plus the shape of the crystals. So, all right. Gonna take all these rocks upstairs, spread them out, and we'll talk about them a little bit. All right, we're back upstairs, and these are some pretty colorful rocks here. I think we're gonna have some decent looking cabs out of them. So let's look at this porphyry here. Now, usually I walk past this stuff, but this one here had some pretty good patterns in it. And a lot of times, a lot of people think that this don't finish up well, but if you do it right, you can get a pretty decent shine out of this, even though it's rhyolite. So, but yeah, this is kind of cool looking, I thought. So there's that one. Now this one here, I have absolutely no idea what this is, but the pattern inside this thing is awesome. Look at that on the outside. I probably picked it up because it looked kind of agate to me. Look at the inside. And it's a relatively hard stone. I thought that looked really cool. So that ought to make some really nice cabs. There's a little pit right there, but I think we can work around that. Yeah. And this green one here, I'm hoping it shines well because I love the color on this thing. Look at that green. And I cut it like this so I can cut it one more time and I can get 3 pieces out of this rock here. Yeah, it's almost all epidote. Got some quartz in there. We'll see how it shines. I think that's kind of pretty. A piece of, I don't know if I want to call this granite or porphyry, because usually porphyry don't have mica in it, so that's why I'm kind of leaning towards granite on this one. I think that's going to make an absolutely stunning cabochon, and usually granite shines very well, even with the mica in there. I just like the stick looking crystals that's in this rock here. There it is again. A piece of unikite. Not a lot of feldspar in there, but a lot of epidote. Look at the crisscross epidote pattern in there. Just enough feldspar in there to keep it interesting. Had this little one here. I thought it had, I think it still does. I think there's hematite in there, but probably not in the amounts that I thought there was. See, there's a little bit. You can kind of see the silver stuff right there. There's the inside. And you can kind of see speckles of hematite in there. So I think it'll be looking pretty good. It'll probably be a natural shape because I don't think this is big enough to get a calibrated cab out of. And then with the red splotches in there, that'll really add some interest to it. And my camera is having a hard time with its focus today. I have to check the settings. There's that one again. All right, this is the one I thought was a northrosite. So kind of crumbly though. So now I'm a little concerned. But I was hoping the red would go in there like that. So I got what I wanted, so hopefully I can get a decent cab out of this. I think that's kind of cool looking. If it don't fall apart on me. All right, had this migdaloidal here. Rhyolite, I believe, prehnite, because it's got copper in it. There you have it. See the copper right there? Flashing off the end of my finger. That's native copper, pure copper. Look at the copper on that side. I think this is going to make a pretty cabochon. And nice and solid too, no voids. And one little fracture in the bottom, but I'll probably work on that in. I always like this stuff. This is another rock that's really hard for me to walk by if it's interesting like this. And we have this another amygdaloidal. And I probably picked this up because I thought it was a superior agate or had agate qualities to it. And it kind of does. Just hoping the Holtz rock kind of shines because it looks like it was wearing faster than the whatever this pink stuff is right there. You can kind of see where it wears faster. But I like the color, and I think I can get a cool design out of it. So I'll give it my best shot. And we got a piece of northernite. I was kind of hoping for green on the inside because I saw this right here, and it's there, but it's not a lot. And there's a lot of dark colors in there too. But I'm going to give it a shot. I'm hoping I get a really nice looking shiny cabochon out of this, and maybe there'll be a little green in there as well. Okay, there were the 10 rocks for episode 51. Now I got the cabochons from episode 50 that Janie sent up from Mississippi, and I hope I don't eclipse this too bad, but there's some really nice looking cabs in that lot. So we'll clear these wet rocks out of the way, and we'll take a look at them. All right, let's look at these cabochons that I made out of rocks that Janie sent me from Mississippi. So first up was this one here. Kind of looked like that on the outside, and that's what it looked like on the inside. Had some little spots and specks and kind of cool designs in there, like that. Here's the cabochon. Absolutely shiny. Got a lot of the little spots and specks and terrain in there. I thought it'd come out pretty good. So there's the original rock, and there's the cabochon I made out of it. Well, there's absolutely no mistaking what this is. So as you saw in the cut, we ended up with that. And that is a really nice looking agate right there. So I tried to maximize everything I could get, and I made a big old cabochon out of that. Look at that. Got a druzy pocket in the bottom there. Got most of the agate part, and it even trailed up into the top of the cab right there. So got a little wax stuck in the druzy pocket on the backside. But that's a souvenir for me. Nice shine, nice pattern, and there's the original, or there's the other side, and there's the cabochon I made. We had this gray one here full of fortifications. There's that side there. Had some pockets, druzy pockets, and some pits. And here is the cabochon I made out of it. Got a kind of a pittish thing running right down the center there. Other than that, it's just gorgeous. Little wax. That's the problem. This wax, it gets into everything on the DOP side. Yeah. So there's the original rock. There's the cab I made out of it. And we had this one here. It had fortifications all over it. The whole rock did. A little water on here so you can see the inside. Look at that. Not really screaming at you with colors and stuff, but the patterns are awesome. So here's the cab I made. Kind of subtle, but they're there. There's the original rock. And there's the cabochon. This one here didn't have any fortifications or agate stuff on it. Had some nice structure on the inside. Had some moss right there, kind of clearish looking. So here's the cab I made out of this one. Not as spectacular as the agates are, but still, again, really nice shine. Got some structure in there that you can see. A little moss on the back side, didn't translate to this side too much. So there's the original rock, and there's the cabochon. Another agate here. And this one was a little troublesome for cab making. There's a lot of structure in there I was trying to work around. Structure being the pits and whatever. But here's the cabochon. I ended up doing a natural shape. I thought it come out pretty good. You can see the fortifications in there. A little extra wax. And there's the original rock, and there's the cabochon I made. Now this one here had this clear window on top, and you could kind of see the bitoidals, they're little bumps. That's how the agate part is made. It had some stuff along the edge here. Didn't have a lot going on inside though. It was all on top here. So here is the cabochon I made. Got a couple little fortifications right on top there, and then along this edge here. And there's the back. So nice shine. So there's the original rock, and there is the cabochon. We had this big old red one here. It had some stuff going on the outside, but it ended up being fossils. This rock is just full of fossils. They call it a seabed death plate or something like that. I think I've had comments. But you can, if you look at it close, you can see little fossils all over the place in there. Right there. So here's the cab I made. Really nice shine. You can see fossils in it. Should have got the magnifying out and did a shot of that under magnification. There's the back. You can see some stuff right there. But yeah, it finished very well. Quite pleased. There's the rock, and there's cabochon. I cut this one here. It had some structure on the other side, and I was kind of hopeful there was something going on in here, but it's just kind of plain, but at least it was solid. It didn't have a bunch of fractures and stuff in there. It had some cloudy looking quartz or whatever going on in there, but no fortifications or anything. Here's the cabochon. Nice and shiny. Got a little stuff going on, not a lot, but I think it come out pretty good. God, the focus on this thing is just driving me nuts. So there's the original rock, and there's the cabochon I made. We had this big one here. It had a lot of fortification stuff going on top right there, but not so much on the bottom. So it was pretty located. But inside it was really kind of cool, actually, other than druzy pockets and stuff, but it had a lot of fortifications and moss and stuff going on the inside there. I had to kind of pick and choose my shape, so I went with this one here, just like the previous one. That seemed like a good fit. It's got some fortifications, a lot of pattern, color's good. So there's the original rock. We get the good side up right there, and there's the cabochon I made out of it. So I'm gonna let Janie have first pick of these cabochons here, and then the rest of them will end up on Etsy someday. Like I said before in the last video, I'm getting way behind on that. I'm just trying to catch up here. So let's turn the camera around and finish up. Well, after those really cool looking rocks that Janie sent up from Mississippi, I hope I didn't bore you too much with those Lake Superior rocks I found up on the beach. A lot of color in there. And I think they'll make awesome cabochons, but I'm going to say the show steal was these cabochons right here. So like I said, they'll end up on Etsy sooner or later. I've been really bad about getting stuff on Etsy here lately. This video comes out every Wednesday, and then I have another video that comes out on Saturday where I make a cabochon from the rough rock all the way to the end and show you my process of how I do it. I appreciate all the viewers and subscribers out there, especially the subscribers that like my content enough to subscribe. All you viewers out there, haven't subscribed, consider subscribing. It's absolutely free. Slide over, everybody give me a thumbs up because that gets the analytics out there so more people can find this content. And then you can ring the bell, hype it, and share it. And that gets me out there even more, but then you'll get every time a video comes out, you'll get a notification. But if you come to my channel on Wednesdays and Saturdays, there's going to be a new video there anyways. So I'm going to put up a playlist here, I think, and then the previous video so you can see Janie's rocks being cut in half before I make cabochons out of them. So thanks again for watching and coming along. That's all I got, and I'll catch you later.